Hi, this is Natu, a guy who's way too old and way too long involved in this game, and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
Right, this is going to be another episode of Talk to Thorin, and this is going to be quite a unique one because first things first, normally, obviously, I ask people to do the interviews. I'm the one who requests that someone comes and does one, or do they have time? This is actually a rare instance where it's actually the guest who requested to do a discussion about this. And this is where I want to just put all the cards on the table. This is actually quite an unusual piece of content for me because people might know, even though on Twitter and on talk shows, I can be quite a controversial figure, or I'm certainly not afraid to give my own opinion. I don't actually do interviews like you see from the mainstream media where, you know, like the BBC interviews someone that they don't like politically and then they try to set them up and catch them, and it's called a gotcha interview, you know, where you make them look stupid or you try and make them say the wrong thing and edit it. Like, I don't like that style of journalism. So in general, I actually don't interview people I might have antagonistic aspects with, or who I think it just would essentially be bad for everyone. So in this rare case though, OverDrive basically said to me, you might have seen, he's had obviously some friction with Richard Lewis, famous journalist in the community, and he basically told me he wants to do an episode. You actually said a tweet that was like, as I saw about HLTV, you said essentially, since there's all this discussion about leaker culture and what is journalism, you want to actually have like a public discussion about this topic and what it is. That's the difference between leaker and journalist and stuff. So OverDrive, that basic premise makes sense, right? You want to sort of like, instead of everything just being on Twitter, you want to like actually get it out to the people what you think of journalism and the scene and some of the people in it, right?
Well, what I saw that every like Richard Lewis and some other guys are discussing me, throwing shit at me, and I don't have a tribune to say my version of what's happening.
Right.
So that's why I saw something in your video about me, about Harumi. I think it's Harumi video.
Yeah.
So that's why I contacted you, because like people should know different part.
Okay.
Maybe someone changed their mind, or maybe understand that the things are completely different.
Yes. Right, let's get into it then. So how about this? First and foremost, just so we can set the table, as we say in English, so people know who you are, I want to ask you a question which goes like this, OverDrive. If someone goes and looks on like Wikipedia or esports earnings, they're going to see that you had a career in the professional Counter-Strike scene and that you've played a number of tournaments. I mean, if people don't know, I'll tell people that if they remember, there was a famous tournament in CS2 where Kenny S and Apex, the French players, played with Neo and Taz, the Polish players, and famously won this LAN and beat like Navi and stuff. OverDrive was the other player. But the premise goes, OverDrive, for whatever reason in your business, essentially you were like arranging these mixed teams, and that was what your professional career was, right? You would pay pros to come with you. You go to a tournament and you compete. Am I right on that? Is that accurate? That's what your pro career was?
Well, let's start from 1.6.
Yeah.
I'm playing CS from 2000, I think.
Right.
For 20
years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a team. It was tp.uSports with Dosi and Fox in 1.6. And we were like top 1 in Russia in 2008, 2009. So I played on stages. So I was a professional 1.6 player, like with everything that goes with that. And when CS 1.6 stopped, I just stopped my career, and I had work in office, so everything, and I didn't plan to continue my cyber sport career.
Right.
But the feeling of playing LANs and this passion didn't finish. So I wanted to continue compete and playing with friends, and I started like to go to some LANs with my friends. First of all, I was traveling on LANs with Dosia, with Hooch, and some other friends. And this particular LAN in Prague, it was a funny stuff. I should go there with Virtus Pro lineup. It was Dosia, Adrian, Angel, I think. And like a week before the event, their CEO said, no, they can't go. So I needed to find a new roster. So I know Neo for quite a long time from 1.6, and we already played a mixed team in Portugal with Neo. And so he said, let's go. He needs 2 hours drive from Poznan, I think it's like a Polish city. And he called Twistzz, and we were trying to find +2. And they said there are Kenny and Apex, they can join us. I said, okay, come on. I don't like to play with no names. Let's try to find someone special. And then they said, no, believe me, they're really good. So I needed to buy tickets and hotel. And the main thing about that, it's people like Richard Lewis and others saying that they pay people, but it's a very easy check fact. You can DM Kenny, Apex, or whatever and ask, did I pay them? Yeah, it's very simple for the best journalist of the year, but no one did that, and I'm not like.
I mean, I think it was implied you also paid for the trip, though, right? You paid for them to travel to the event, right?
Well, I just wanted that days it was completely different emotions. People play for passion. It's there was no money in cybersport. Like salary 1,000 euros. It's a very good salary in that days.
This is in 2013. If people don't know that we're talking about, so it's 10 years ago. Yeah,
no big salaries, nothing, and people just want to play CS. And if they know, and the slots on event also can give in a very easy way. I just contacted the head admin and say I can go with this line. Can we give a slot? He said, okay, no problem, you get it. So it was very simple. The cybersport was on a different level. So, and I didn't think that I will continue my life, my job with cybersport. So I had my main office job, and I had my passion stuff. What I like the most is playing at LAN. So it was just fun stuff, and I just needed to pay tickets and hotel. It's about maybe 1,000 per one event. It's not a big deal for having fun. It's like, for example, I make a party, I call you, I say, come on, Thorin, we have a party, all food, all drinks are
it's included, so of course. Yeah. Sure.
And you come to my party, and then people say, oh, he paid you to party with him. So it's the same stuff.
Let me ask you this question then. Look, I don't want to make every one of these the same topic, so we'll get each answer out and then we'll go to the next one. All I'll say is this, OverDrive. I actually did contact some players that played in some of these past teams, and some of them did say this story, that in the teams that you were in with them, that you arranged the travel and you paid for the hotels and stuff, and this was part of what your role was. So essentially, either those players are lying, could be. By the way, one thing you might find is interesting about me, OverDrive, is I know players lie. So I don't just think just because a famous player called you out, they're right. Sometimes players are fucking liars. But what I'll ask you is this. You're trying to almost suggest you think people are unfair. They're trying to suggest essentially you sucked at CS 1.6, right? And you just paid for everyone to attend with you. You think they're making up a rumor about you? Have people tried to mischaracterize you, do you think?
I think they're just... some people envy that, because for example, if a schoolboy opens Wikipedia or Actual TV and see me playing with legends like Kenny and Apex,
the people they wish they could play with, right? Okay,
of course they will, and they are in cybersport for 2-3 years, and they won't understand how this bot is playing with these legends,
right?
And of course their logic goes to he paid them.
Yes,
that's as simple as that. But if they dig into this issue, to this question, they will understand that everything is completely different.
Okay.
And moreover, next year in 2014, I went to Asus ROG in Finland with Apex again. I remember it was Pimp, Snyder, and Kukli. So it was for some time. And of course, and the funny thing that in Prague, I had 100 hours in CSGO. So I won the event with 100 hours. That's the funny stuff. And of course, I'm happy that I went with these guys. I think it was my best lineup in CSGO for sure. Apex Kenny was... I was very surprised when they came. I thought I didn't know them at all. And then the 18 years old guys came and showed extreme level of scarce. I was really shocked about their level.
Right, let's get into the main topics people want to hear about then. So first thing I'll ask you is this, OverDrive. One of the problems with like leaker culture when the names aren't as well known, like the obvious example is Harumi, is, mate, before he did leaks on Twitter, nobody knew this guy. No one ever heard of this guy's name. Like, you're at least have put someone around the scene. Like, you have played with those players. You have been around many, many years. I never heard of this Harumi person ever in the esports till 2022 OverDrive. And I've been here since 2001 professionally. I was following the scene earlier. So my first question to you is, who is Harumi to you? Because the assumption online, by the way, is he's part of your circle, like you and him are friends or share sources or something. Who is Harumi to OverDrive? Do you know this guy?
Well, I think I started his career because he was usually he came on my streams and like admin on my streams, and he started to tell me on stream some stuff about like what's happening on the CIS scene. And I was like joking, oh, this is new insider,
Right.
And then in one day he started to post this like big news. So I can tell you about Harumi that he has good sources, but his problem is that he like this hype, and he gets like interesting insight or maybe interesting rumor. He doesn't wait what's going next when it's approved or not. He just started to post it to get all the hype. That's his problem. He's young and he doesn't care about his reputation. He cares about hype. And every time I tell him, stop posting like rumor stuff. You're like destroying your reputation. Wait for like inside, like I do. I post an inside like once a month, and it's completely right. It's and you just throwing some stuff, and then you get the hate because it's doesn't happen. And he can he really has good sources, like from CEOs, managers, and they can tell some. This CEO talked with that player, and maybe they will have something. And he instantly post that this player joins this team, and it's wrong. They just had a talk. So that's his problem. He's too young to
I get the sense of it.
Pro level.
Right, what I would say to this is, first of all, obviously you saw I made a video on him. I've investigated this, right? When you say he has good sources, OverDrive, maybe some of his sources were good and the info was right, and it was like, whether it was going to happen or not, it was really going on. But I can just tell you, I've actually gone and talked to direct sources, and some of his stories were just nonsense, mate. They were just things like he saw someone follow someone on Twitter, or just a completely made-up rumor. It was never happening behind the scenes. You think this is not true?
Yeah, that's also true. He had good sources, and sometimes he just do some random stuff, or not from bad sources. He also takes the info just to get hype, and all the time I say him, don't follow these sources, like double check it. Reputation is like the main stuff when you're insider.
Well, I put it this way, I'll use your own words. I actually got the tweet. You said on Twitter, your thoughts on this matter. You said, who cares if you are a journalist or just a leaker? The main thing is your info correctness. Cool post with cute pictures, but fake info doesn't make any sense. So my question to you is this, OverDrive, because I feel like another area that this whole topic is confused in is when people use words like leak, rumor, inside info. I don't think people are explain, like, there's no dictionary for what that means to a fan, OverDrive. They don't know what the difference is between, like, they don't know, is leak, like you just heard something, isn't the rumor the same thing? What's the difference between an inside to you is like a real story? Give me some thoughts. Like, what do these words mean to you? Like, how are you separating out a leaker from a journalist, or an inside from just a rumor? How do you separate them personally to OverDrive?
Well, inside or leak, it's the fact. It happened. The rumor is when something could happen, or something in talks, or so it's like different stuff. A rumor can happen or can totally be wrong. And inside or leak, it's 100% fact. So that's the main difference. But I had some rumors in Twitter, but I stopped posting them because common fan, he he doesn't see the difference.
It's like you said, it'll just make your reputation go down if you do a rumor and then people think you're saying it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, that's maybe like my main beef in last year with Nico and Twistzz. Maybe you saw that.
Yeah.
I think
we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it started with a rumor, of course, and people didn't get that, and I was not in a bad, not in a good situation,
right?
Not in a good situation. So I decided not to write rumors anymore in Twitter.
Okay. Right, what about this then? So one thing I would ask you is this, because we'll talk about the Nico and the Twistzz thing in a second. I think it's actually the same topic. But my other question to you would be this. You said to Twistzz on Twitter when this whole thing was going down that you don't call yourself a journalist. You actually say you don't do that. But here's what's confusing to me, OverDrive. If the info you find isn't just a rumour, like you say, it's a real fact behind the scenes that you know, and you've waited, you haven't just rushed like harumi and pressed send tweet on any info you heard. If it's something you know is correct and you verified it, isn't that journalism, mate? Like, why not say you're a journalist then?
Well, journalist for me is like big work where you work 24/7. You do articles. You talk with pro players and other guys from this industry. You investigate stuff. It's like a very big work. And I don't do this work. I just have some info and I post it for people to have something interesting to read.
Just to know what's going on.
It's not a big deal. And journalist for me is a really hard work. I tried to be a journalist. Maybe you saw I had some interviews with pro players 5 years ago on national TV, maybe around 5, 10. I also had with Simple and some other top CIS players. And, it was very hard. The main stuff is to contact this guy and then to DM him to
arrange the interview and stuff.
Arrange the interview, then he check the interview if everything is correct, and it's very hard stuff. And a lot of ignore you. A lot of people say let's go, then they quit it. For example, I didn't get. Maybe in 2018 I had interview with Thorin. I should have interview with Thorin. He been to Moscow on some LAN, and he gave me his phone number. I contacted him, and during 6 months, he said he was writing me, "Let's do it in 1 month. I have some job to do." Okay, let's go. And then in 1 month. In 1 month, he stopped answering me, and I got it that I'm in block list, and that's. Happens sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
But it's the main mystery question for me, why people can say I don't do this, I don't want to do this. So I won't be like a young boy trying to a fanboy trying to pushing this pro player. So I don't get this. And after that, since I'm not a young guy to run for every pro player, I just decided to stop this interview stuff and
listen, mate,
I'm doing that.
Obviously, I know that world, and I don't blame you. That is a hassle, like you say. People don't know. There's way more goes on behind more than just the video you get to see at the end. Here's my question to you then. So one detail. This is just a minor detail before we jump into the bigger things with Nico and Twistzz. One thing you did say to Twistzz though that I found a bit strange is I can't tell if this is a communication issue, but even though he's okay. So what happened was on Twitter he kind of seemed like he was exposing you because basically he told everyone right, OverDrive just works privately with Team Spirit, and that's where he's getting all his info from, right? And then you yourself said, well, I don't hide it. I did say when I went on hltv.org, confirmed, for example, I do work with Spirit. All I would say to you is this, OverDrive, is I do think if you're going to do leaks, you should probably put that in your Twitter bio. You should sort of disclose everywhere that you work with Team Spirit, because even if, as you say, maybe the info doesn't come from Team Spirit, people are going to make that assumption potentially. So I just think it's good. It's called disclosure in journalism. What do you think on that topic? Because now the assumption people have is that you're just getting everything from Team Spirit, right?
Well, so that what Twistzz wrote, that I get leaks from Spirit Screams, is not even wrong stuff. It's one of the most stupid stuff I ever heard. For example, maybe like for 1 or 2 years, there is some soft where you put an IP address and you get all players who play.
You can see everyone who connected to the server, right, and all the names. Yeah.
If you have access to Pragcom, you know all servers, so you don't. Every schoolboy, like during 1 hour, can get this soft and understand how they can get all info from servers. So you don't need to be
right. You don't need someone from Spirit to tell you. You can just get it anywhere. Yes, right.
It's very easy to get info from server. It's like first stuff, like the main stuff, and Go's question to Lewis. He also made attention on this thing about that getting like leaks from Team Spirit Prax, and why he couldn't know that, why he couldn't check this easy fact that this soft is like for 1 or 2 years, and it's easy to work with that. Second stuff, I think I started to post leaks maybe from 2017, and in Spirit, on Spirit server when I was an assistant coach, I've been maybe for 1 year. So how it doesn't work, and I stopped being on server maybe with from this spring. So after that, I haven't been on server, and of course on CS2 you don't have spectator access. And like the main stuff, how do you think if I take leaks from Spirit Prax, would Spirit keep me as a worker with them? Of course, they will fire me or will say that I can't do that. So it's like simple stuff that it's easy to understand, and I didn't get why Twistzz wrote that. And the main stuff that when you're like a person like Twistzz or Lewis, who had like a lot of followers on Twitter, of course I can't struggle them. I don't have like much power in Twitter, so everyone will build them, but it's a completely stupid stuff that is not even close to the truth. So now I tell you the truth how it works. So my work in Spirit and my like liquor stuff is completely different ways that are going like it's completely different.
What about this? Just give me a sense. How does OverDrive get a story? Like we're talking about, like, as we say, not rumors, real things that you know are happening. Like, obviously, we make it abstract. Like, you're not going to say literally this person, but it's like, you know, what happens? Do you find out from a manager, from the player themselves, agents? How do you get your info?
Well, like I said, I've been in cybersport from 2000, so it's 24 years, and people who started to play with me when we were young, now they're like big guys. They're CEOs. They're managers of some big companies who work in cybersport, and I have a lot of contacts all over the world, and that's easy like that. I can contact them or they contact me, and we discuss stuff which I can post and which I cannot. So it's simple like that. Moreover, sometimes I get an insight straight from the team, and they say me, for example, go post that we kicked this person, we need offers for him as fast as possible, go post it. So it's I'm their instrument to make some business stuff going. Sometimes I know very unique info which will bring a lot of likes, subscribes, whatever, but I can't do that. And people know if they
as in you don't want to be used as like a tool by the team, you mean, if you know it's like an ongoing negotiation like you describe?
No, it's okay for me if they ask me to
that's
write the
okay,
stuff.
right?
It's okay. Yeah, it's that I'm like their instrument. I have my.
So then, when you say that, then what's the line? Because you're describing a circumstance in which you don't want to like report the story. What's the line that makes it not right to report in your opinion?
If the source telling me not to post it, I won't. If he is saying it's okay, I will post. So it's simple with that. My main thing is to bring people like some info to read. So this cybersport stuff won't be very, I don't know, dry.
Okay.
And they will have some like juicy information.
Something exciting to talk about, right?
That's all. Yeah, to see what's going on behind the curtains. So that's the main point. I don't have like much like impact from Twitter. I don't have like a lot of some subs, so it's just for fun, and everyone should understand that if like the source is telling me not to post, I won't post it. And like maybe like because I have a big my I don't know how to leak history, and these sources know that I can keep secrets. For example, now I know like 5 or 6 insights that will happen, but I can't do them. But it's okay for me. There's it's normal.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions for you. So here's one for you, which goes like this. When you get an amazing piece of info, maybe it's even from a mega source, like it's the player himself or manager of the team, and you know they're not a liar, right? In this scenario, is that enough? If that story is real, can you just go with it? Do you have to check it with anyone? Do you have any extra system in place?
Depends from what source. For example, if it's inside from the team, it's okay. If it's someone, a friend or someone else said, it's should be double checked.
Like, do you never worry, for example, like the situation you described? Let's say a team, like you say, says, hey, I want to sell this player. So say he's available or say someone's interested in him. Like, you don't ever worry that they might be kind of like, they might, even if they are real, they know what's going on. They might mislead you. Like, they might try and trick you so you're kind of part of their media game. You don't worry about that?
Most of the time, I post when it's a fact, when it's happened.
Okay.
So I try to, when I post inside, I try to post it when it's a fact, when it's completely happened, and like the announcement is going to be in like 2 days or 3 days.
Do you think any of, like, as I say, someone can be a real source, like they could be a pro player. The joke is it could be some of the players we talked about, but sometimes they might privately or publicly lie. Do you think players and teams ever lie to you? Do they ever try and trick you think?
Maybe they tried, but when I started, maybe they tried to joke or something like that. But now everyone understands that it's serious stuff, and we're talking like partners, not like a leaker on a player or like a manager or whatever. So I had no problems with that.
Let me ask you, because we'll go to the Richard thing at the end. Let me just ask you about this famous story. We've done the Twistzz one. The Nico one's the one I want to ask about, because like I asked earlier about how do you separate what the difference between a rumour and a real story is. So to you, I mean, you did phrase it this way on Twitter. Essentially to you, you heard a rumour that Nico, the reason he's staying in G2 was to make this Balkan super team that people have thought about many times, like obviously Nexa joined, and then the joke was maybe Madden from the same region, maybe he comes over from Ents. If people don't know this, you know, this is it's like pretty sweet. A fan could think up this rumour. It's an interesting idea, isn't it? Like maybe Nico wants to play with all the people from Balkan region. When you made this tweet, you made the tweet that you'd heard it was like a cool rumour or something, but then Nico came really hard at you and basically sort of told you to shut up or you're delusional or something. And then you went back at him. But I think this is the part that confuses people, OverDrive, because this is the part that makes people think you were saying it was happening, is that you called him a liar. So can you explain this story to me? Give me your perspective on this, because to other people, it sounds like you're saying he was making that team. So then when they hear Madden joins Falcons, they're going to think you're wrong. So give me your take on it. What was the idea that you were trying to put out there? Just a cool thing you heard?
Well, I heard from some good sources that during last summer he was trying to find like a big
someone with a lot of money to buy the players or something, right?
some resources to make a Balkanian team.
Okay.
So I heard this rumor that he was trying to find like resources, like money to do that project, and I had this from good resource. It's like a big person, not known, but in business.
Right. Okay.
So I just put a rumor. Of course, he told me that I can post it. It's no problem because it's just a rumor. So that's why I posted. Nothing special about that. And the thing is that when someone writes that Nico can affect on lineup, it is a weak point. He every time he started to be mad when someone put point on this stuff. That
he doesn't like that people say that he controls the lineup, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's his weak point, and he instantly becomes mad.
Yeah, upsets him. Yeah.
So that's what happened. I don't think it's something big about the story, but the problem is that I didn't answer correctly. I just I could ignore him. I could just say.
I mean, you tried to sort of banter with him a bit, right? You were trying to be a bit cheeky, but the problem is, I don't know if you know this, OverDrive. I actually can see that. To me, it looks like you're trying to be friendly, but in like a shit talking way. But I think he actually thought you were being rude to him. I don't know if you got that perspective.
Well, it was like he attacked me with his answer.
Sure.
And I'm kind of person that I'm really friendly. I don't like some like beefing with some other people. But when someone attacked me, I can't control myself. I instant attack him, and after I attack, I started to think. And if you watch that like Twitter stuff, in my messages for him, I said sorry that I called you. Like,
yeah, a lot of people haven't seen this, but there is actually a tweet that OverDrive did at the end where he basically says like maybe I wrote it wrong or something, or you like apologize for the way I wrote it or something, right?
I said I called him a liar, and then I apologized that I called him a liar. So that was unacceptable.
Okay. What about
do this?
Like, look, you kind of addressed it earlier, but one of the other problems with this topic is it's like you say about number of followers. Like, I'll give you an example. So, you know, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I did that tweet during the, like, when fucking Fallen had just had a good game in Imperial, and I was like, he's the most overrated player ever. And then everyone on Twitter was just wrecking me for like a whole week. Well, the problem in that scenario, OverDrive, is I have quite a few followers, but Fallen has 1 million followers. So essentially, it doesn't matter if I was right or wrong. He wins. He has 1 million followers. I have whatever, 200,000. That's nothing compared to 1 million. So similarly, when you have not only Nico and Twistzz, but then even Simples come out of nowhere, call you a whore, like you just look bad. Even if you were right, you'd look bad, right? Was that fucking with you that all these players are coming in on you?
That's why I contacted you to have my own tribune, so people will see the different stuff.
Okay.
But I had beef with Simple. I don't know if you.
Is there some problem between the two? You like?
I don't know if you heard about that or not. Well, so it's like long story. For last year, Simple is I don't know how. He's a person that hates critics. If someone say something bad about him, he becomes mad. He will instantly write back to you, like in audience, something bad about you.
Okay.
So everything started when he made a big giveaway for free Dragon Lords in Telegram channel. I think you know Telegram, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
is this a long time ago we're talking about? We talked about years ago, I'm guessing, right?
No, last year.
Right, recently, right? Okay.
Yeah, and he was making a big giveaway free Dragon Lords if he gets 100,000 of
Followers
subs
or whatever. Yeah, sure.
for followers, he will give away free Dragon Lords. And I made a joke like, if I have 100 subs today, I will make free burgers giveaway. But stupid.
Just a meme, sure. Yeah.
And after that, he started like throw some shit on his Telegram channel about me. Like OverDrive is an old dickhead. He's paying. Again, this story, he's paying pros to play.
Okay.
I contacted him in direct message. I'm saying, come on, Sasha, it's a joke. It's a like simple joke. Just if you don't like it, sorry, because we were in good relations before that. He said, okay. And in his Telegram channel, he also said, it's okay about OverDrive, no conflict, so peace. And then during some time, there were also like two stuff. Then he started to throw shit on me. And again, I contacted him in DM, and everything was good. And remember that stuff when he didn't come to Sydney? I had an info from like the Sydney, from the manager of Navi, that he missed the plane. He didn't go to the airport. And I posted that. Because I posted that I think only in our local socials, not in Twitter. And after that, he became crazy. He started like again throwing some bad stuff about me. Moreover, later on, I said that maybe he didn't miss the plane, but it doesn't matter. The main thing, I didn't like that Navi and Simple said nothing about that they're sorry for their fans that they can't compete in Sydney, and they just throwing shit on insiders who tried to say that Simple is missing the plane. Harumi wrote that Simple was drunk to fly. He was wrong, but still, Simple and Navi, they didn't try to contact their fans and describe the situation that they're very sorry. They started to attack insiders. I didn't get that. And Simple throw a lot of shit on me, and I just I decided stop to DM him personally, and I started to attack him back. And we had like a long beef in Telegram, maybe for 2 or 3 days, and it was kind of funny. I was telling him that it's a pity that this like skill of the best player in the world in a very stupid countryman.
All right.
And he was again, I'm paying pros to play.
Sure.
I am no impact in cybersport, like all this stuff. So we didn't come to a peace where.
I think we get it. Right. I've got one last story I want to ask you about, just because it's a recent story, so I thought it was an interesting one, and then we'll do the Richard Lewis stuff, which will be fun. It's just the story about Shiro going to Spirit. So here's the weird thing, OverDrive. As we've described in this interview, people know OverDrive has direct connections with Team Spirit. So when two leakers come along and OverDrive says Shiro was signed for over $1 million, and Harumi says Shiro was signed for 1.75 million. Well, the gap between is huge, mate. And all I'll say is this. I asked some people at Cloud9, and I'll just say this. The number they told me was a little bit closer to Harumi. What would you say about that?
Oh, I think you should believe me since I'm working Spirit. And it's like simple as that.
Like, you think that like Harumi just made it up or heard bad info? Because he's really far off your number, mate. He said 750,000 more.
Maybe he. During this talks between organization, there were different numbers. And from like very big number to very small number, and Harumi could get info from the start of negotiations.
Right. Okay. The first number or whatever. Right.
Yeah. But I wrote like the main number. It's like a bit bigger than 1 million.
Okay.
So that's included.
Right, let's do it then. Let's get into the Richard Lewis stuff. So obviously Richard Lewis made a whole video about you called Maximum Overdrive, and he addressed a lot of the things we've talked about in this video. Right, the first thing I want to get out the way is this overdrive. There's two ways we can do this. We can talk about what he said about you, or we can talk about him as a journalist, because you've kind of tried to address both. So first things first, before we get into like what he said about you, a bit like what you said about if someone attacks you, like when Nico attacked you or when Simple attacks you. You know how you said you tend to just immediately attack them back and then you sort of think about it. By the way, I can relate to that. I've done it a lot of times myself on Twitter where someone annoys you, so you just fire a tweet back. You haven't really thought through, like, how would I phrase that, or should I say it? But my question is this. When you attack him back, you don't just say he's wrong or he's an idiot. You've actually said, like, he's not a journalist or he's fake or he doesn't know anything or even a shit leaker knows more than him, is more like, give me that aspect. Like, it's one thing if you disagree with him or you think he was wrong about you, but you actually think he's bad at his job. He's not a good journalist.
Well, in what we already talked about, I described the things that where he's completely wrong. For example, his video started that I was a very bad pro player in CSGO, but I wasn't a pro player in CSGO. Already, this fact is completely wrong. He was trying to discuss stuff about that I was paying players. This originary stuff, also completely wrong. And all these things are very easy to check. Then he started to discuss this spirit stuff that I get inside leaks from.
Right.
It's also completely wrong stuff, and he also could easy check it. Again, wrong. Then I don't even remember. So the main thing, he did this video not like a journalist. He did this video like a hater, my hater. So
Okay.
in this point, I understand this video. In point of journalist of the year, it's a fucking joke. Then when a journalist of the year is doing this video with, like, I don't know, it's he like amateur in cybersport, like he's 1 year in cybersport, and he sees like the whole picture, and he saying about insights, like I don't know even how to explain that. It's unprofessional work what he did in this video. When I saw it, I thought it's very interesting to find maybe he dig to something really important, and maybe he will.
Oh, you thought maybe he's going to expose something, but he didn't, right?
Maybe he will fuck me up, like,
right,
for some special stuff. Maybe
right.
That time
something behind the scenes or something. Yeah, right.
There are nothing bad about me if even he dig, but maybe like that I can't control myself on Twitter, like post
right.
I do
Okay.
in my own socials, that he will show people that I am like a bad person, for example. And I was afraid of that because sometimes I'm very emotional, and I can maybe my beef on face it to other players where
right.
I
try pin to them and stuff, right? I say, okay.
That's what I'm afraid of,
right.
Because he had a big audience and he could put me in a like bad situation. But when I saw that, it was just biggest joke I ever saw. And on every aspect, I told you that it's easy fact to check, and I don't know why he didn't do that. So all this stuff is like a video of a hater, a personal hater, not a big journalist.
You actually think, by the way, is it just the stuff that he addresses to you that you think's incredible? Like, if he actually publishes stuff, like, obviously, he did publish last year, mate, that CS2 was coming out. It did come out, and he has published some, like, big stuff. You think it's just Twitter and his videos? The rest of his work, he is a real journalist, right? Because the problem is, I understand why you don't like that detail, but you also said when he won Journalist of the Year that he doesn't deserve it, basically. Like, you implied it by joking that you should be Player of the Year in Counter-Strike if he's the Journalist of the Year. Your joke was that, like, OverDrive's the PC Player of the Year or something like. He is a proper journalist, right? Aside from this info, you agreed Richard was a real journalist?
I don't follow his career. I don't know his, what he's... I saw some stuff, but I don't follow his career to say that he's like a big journalist or not.
You aren't following like English language stuff much? Is it more Russian stuff you're following?
Yeah, mostly Russian stuff. Sometimes I read some English stuff, but I didn't follow it much. I don't have something against him. We don't know each other, and he was the person who started like attacking me. I don't know for why reason. Maybe again about this. He added me to block list, but I think he's adding everyone to block list who didn't like his topics. But
that's certainly what people say. He's certainly blocked a lot of people. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's okay for like old guys.
True,
but well, but. I hope that one day, like, we meet each other, and he will explain me why he did that, why he didn't like my stuff or whatever, and we'll come to a conclusion.
I'll tell you one thing I would ask you, OverDrive. This is a serious question, actually. Is your version is not quite as bad because you've done this interview, and in this interview, actually, I'd say you came off better than I expected you were going to. But my problem is this, right? Harumi did a way worse version of you, which is, you notice if anyone says anything against Harumi, he just insults them. And here's the problem. I don't know, like, you know how things get like lost in translation. Like the words you're saying are correct, but it just doesn't come off the same way. So, for example, whenever you attack Richard or Harumi does attack me, right? It doesn't sound cool because you're doing it in English. So you guys are always saying weird stuff like "you smell farts." It's like a granny's dog shit. That just sounds. That's like what a little kid would say in the playground, if you know what I mean. Like, I get it, Harumi. So my question to you is this: if you actually want to be like friendly with journalists, you want to be part of the scene. Like, that approach isn't going to work, is it? Because like people think you're like going back and forth. Like you said, like I said, you said Richard's like a clown and he's an idiot and stuff. So I understand, like, you might not like what he said about you, but he's never going to like you after you say that, though, is he? Like, that's you've called him a clown. What do you think about that?
But I also want to ask you a question. Do you agree with me that this video that he did about me is not quite journalist stuff?
The problem is this, right? First of all, I'd have to go back and listen to how he phrased it in the video OverDrive, as in, if he said something like, "I've heard he does this," that's not even him claiming it's a fact. That's claiming it's like something from within the scene. Like, it's like inside info. You know, like you've heard in this, someone like he might have heard someone in the Russian scene say that, like, you pay the players or something. Look, if he's actually did it as like a written report, like OverDrive exposed for being like, you know, with spirit and getting all it, that's different. So to me, I would say he'd probably say that was just content. It wasn't journalism, that video, but I'd have to go and check. And then also, to me, the bigger problem is, it's just those specific cases you're talking about, like the Spirit one, and what do you do with the paid players in the past? Aside from that, I actually think one of the reasons he's hostile to you is he thinks your info's like Harumi's. He thinks it's a fake. But
he could also like call me for a debate or some stuff, or I don't know, and to talk face to face and ask these questions, to try to like show people that I'm like a clown, or maybe he will understand that I'm not a clown, that I'm saying good stuff. I understand.
Well, maybe he'll see this and do it. Maybe he'll call you up and do a stream or something. You want to do it? If he's watching now, you want to do like a stream with him and talk about this shit?
Of course, I'm always want to do like everything. I'm okay with everything.
Okay.
Especially when I have like a beef with person. Maybe it's fun for the start, but in the end of the day, we all should come to like a peaceful stuff and be maybe not friends, but respect each other. So I think it should be everywhere, but it's up to him, because I'm ready to do that. It's okay for me. but like the main you told about like language stuff. Like the main problem of me that due to lack of experience talking English, sometimes it also you can see on Twitter you put different words because you need practicing.
Sure.
That's why the main stuff I was afraid about our interview, since I didn't have like this kind of practice for like a lot of years. A lot of words I forget and put in wrong context.
Right.
So that's the problem, and maybe someone will find me speaking very bad English, but sorry for that. I don't have good practice for years. I understand everything, every sentence, every word, but to speak fluently, you need a very good practice for some time to get in good shape. So maybe that's gonna be my problem. Speaking or debating with a native language speaker.
Sure. Right, I thought one last thing we could talk about as a topic, and then we could just wrap it up, because it's like we can end on a good note here, is I'll bring it back to something we discussed at the beginning, like the difference between leakers and journalists. Because one thing you've said, and I actually agree with you on this OverDrive, is if it's done the right way, I actually do think leaking is fine. Like, I'm not someone who thinks that everyone should be banned, or you should never retweet one, or don't look at, like, the joke is obviously I look at them as well, mate. Like, and by the way, I'm a journalist, but I sometimes say leaks. Like, I sometimes say, oh, I've heard maybe they're going to sign this guy, but I'm not saying it as a report. It's just a rumor I've heard from players. It's interested info, like you say. It's something cool to talk about, right? The difference is this, though, OverDrive. It's like we said about Harumi earlier. My problem is it can't ever be that what you reveal, though, is fake. It can't be made up, or you had a dodgy source, or you don't really know what you're talking about. To me, it's like, leak it if you want. You don't have to be a journalist, but make sure, like you're talking about, you have to make sure it's real. Like, it's actually proper info, because at the end of the day, here's the difference, OverDrive. It is okay to do a tweet where you go, hey, what if Nico made a Balkan sympathy? That's one thing. But the problem is, if you did that, but a fan doesn't know the line, like I think happens with Harumi, and they think that's actually happening and it's a move that's going on now, you can obviously affect like the scene in a negative way. Would you agree? What do you think on that topic?
Oh, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think every situation has its own stuff. So you need to see what's happening directly in this situation. There are no rules that you should do like that, and like that. It's up to what's happening in this particular moment. By the way, we closed to like theme about news. I remember this in his video. He didn't even show this comment where I said sorry to Nico. That was also I didn't get.
You think he purposely didn't include it, so you look back?
I'm sure his purposely didn't put, so that's not a good stuff. If you're like starting this discussion, but we close this theme. I just
no, it's okay.
Just remember, and also like one thing I always try to, for example, in my CS socials, I always try to say about that people will. Everyone, especially in Europe or in the world, know me as a leaker. But my main thing, where I have like the main impact on like cyber sport and why I work here, is my scouting stuff. For example, I started to work in Espada. Do you remember Espada lineup?
Yeah, that was the one that, if people don't know, that's where some of the players from Gambit came from, right?
No, Espada is Dexter and Patsy.
Oh, right, the wrong lineup. So it was a Russian team, yeah.
Yeah, it was my first project. I gave it myself. So from then I started to work with Spirit and players like Artfrost, Donk, Zontix, Magix, Dexter, Patsy. Did I miss someone? For some other teams, Kensi, Norvi. So it's all players that, which I scouted. And it's like my main work, and I'm like happy that I can do that. And liquor is a very small part of me, but people all know me as liquor. But like my main work for people to know is scouting, find young players, and to give them a chance to be in a big team, in big organization, and to like make their dream of life come true.
Right. At the end of
But
this interview, do you have a final message? Do you want to thank anyone or say hello to someone?
first of all, thank you for accepting my call. And well, like maybe the main stuff is to be friendly, to double check if you get an info, to double check that, and if we're saying like from liquor stuff, if you see that someone wrote something that you don't believe, don't start throwing shit on him. Check the other position, check all the info, and when you get all the info, then decide if this person wrong or he's right. So keep your emotions for some time before you completely understand if you're with all the stuff. So be more friendly and everything will be good.
Spasiba.
Не за что.
I've had to make a lot of tough choices in my career, but thanks to the support of my Patreon community, the Skrilluminati, I never have to make tough financial decisions. So this video and all the rest on my channel are kindly supported by Ahmed Hadjou, Frisky, Pugnatio, Rajcula, Animosity, Jensen Goh, Tobias Bernasconi, Tosh, Thorin, and you know it if you've ever heard before, and you'll hear it many times in the future. A special thanks goes out to my main man, Jerry Keysminian. Do you want to ask a question in my video AMA? Do you want to be part of one of those long discussions where we talk about whatever you like in esports? Do you want teasers, find out who the upcoming guests are going to be? Or maybe you want to suggest a topic for a future Thorin's Thoughts type video? Well, if any of these perks or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is today and join the Skrilluminati by joining the Patreon link in the description box below.